She is a Southern belle.
What are your colors, Shelby? They're blush and beige.
He's from across the pond.
What is it about you Southern girls?
She's as feisty as she is sweet.
This is where the fun happens.
You can't tell her nothing.
And he's the calm to her storm. After nearly a decade together, they're finally taking the next step to tie the knot. This is a story that will prove that real-life romantic comedies exist.
What you want to be married to me for anyhow?
Hey Hey Films presents
So I can kiss you anytime I want.
When You Wilt Upon a Star.
Can you believe that after everything that we are finally getting married?
We've been married 64 years.
No, we haven't been married.
54 years, coming up for 55.
I love it. So that's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, we got it right to start with.
I've already argued with you.
The ribbon on my bouquet is from my mama's wedding dress, and she'll be celebrating her 60th wedding anniversary in July.
That's a long time to live with one woman. I mean, when I married her, I planned on living with her for 10 years.
Told me he was going to turn me in on 2 20s when I turned 40.
But something happened. I don't know what it was, but
You were too much in love.
that's probably true.
We met through mutual friends, and it just sort of,
Just work.
it clicked. It just seemed to work. We have had arguments, but we always make up fairly quickly afterwards.
Look at me.
We get cross with one another.
You still get cross.
You
with
still
one
get cross
another.
with one another, but it just doesn't seem to matter somehow.
You know, we might have had some arguments in our time, but that's where friendship comes in.
We still love one another. If we're going out walking together, we almost invariably hold hands.
People laugh at us.
Yes, people still think, well, you still hold hands? Yes, well, yes, we do. I mean, we tell one another we love each other several times a day, probably.
Do you tell me? I can't remember that.
Of course I do.
We still love each other. I do.
Yeah, I love you
How do you
too.
feel?
I love you most of the
That's
time.
good. Most of the time?
Yeah.
What the hell do you mean? Most
Kenny,
of the time?
be
I
nice.
mean, excuse me. What do you mean most of the time?
Well, because that's how it is.
We've obviously known Elliot a lot longer than we've known Makenzie, but we've now met Makenzie on a number of occasions.
Dear my beautiful Makenzie.
Wait, Elliot, wait. Sweetie, I'm sorry. They're fixing my dress.
They seem just to go together the same as we do, and I'm sure they will have a long and happy marriage. They certainly seem to be made for each other.
I think they'll do great.
I think they will too.
Take the rough with the smooth and travel the road.
They're both just wonderful people.
You're the most loving, caring, charismatic, beautiful, and intelligent woman I know. And I don't know how I got so lucky to end up with someone like you. I just want you to know how excited I am to marry you and start our family together. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I can't wait to call you Mrs. Welch.
Elliot, you have taught me so many life lessons in the 10 beautiful years that I've gotten to love you. Your unconditional love has served as a light that guides me through all that this world has had to throw at us. We have had no shortage of trials, but when life is chaos, you were still and you were there. And I'm so appreciative that you've chosen me to be your wife, and I cannot wait to spend the rest of my life with you and to look at you and know that you're mine every day. And I love you so much, and I can't wait to be Mrs. Welch.
And it is now my privilege to introduce to you for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Elliot Wills.
I spread my wings and fly into a sea of blue and white. Now with open eyes, I can truly feel alive. There's a world I've never seen before, and now I'm rising up and soaring high above it all. It's nothing like I've ever experienced.